Seeing the complaints directed towards IVE and their recent seated lip sync scandal, it really got me thinking, and it was kinda an eye-opening moment to me about the direction K-pop is going down and will continue to go down for the next few years. And spoiler, it's not just IVE, Blackpink and New Jeans. I only put them in the thumbnail because I believe they are the catalysts for the direction K-pop has been heading the past 5 years or so. As we make the transition from 4th gen to 5th gen, I can't help but feel like K-pop is becoming unbalanced when it comes to style and substance. With songs finishing at the 2-minute mark, microphones being turned off for live performances, and the infiltration of designer fashion brands, I recently came to the conclusion that I and a lot of other stans must face the facts that the role of what a K-pop idol is has been going through major shifts lately from what we knew them to be in the 3rd and the 2nd gen. It's time to talk about the future frontier of K-pop idols, who will influence more than they sing. With the death of V-Live and the merger with HYBE, it's really symbolic of how K-pop has attached itself to various forms of social media over the years and how this has affected the entire genre. The 1st and 2nd gen were the era of the untouchable idol. You couldn't get to know who an idol was through social media to the extent we can now. All you had was curated variety TV to follow. When the 3rd gen hit, companies realized that there was value in having idols that were within reach and relatable, and the mysterious idol fell off. In my opinion, the group and company that were the pioneers of this was HYBE and how they marketed BTS. BTS were the ones to popularize, giving a personable inside look into the life of idols. They were always vlogging and were talented at forming a friendly and approachable image that felt authentic to them. I remember at the time, I felt like BTS were distant cousins to the Janoskians because of how they used their YouTube channels to showcase their personality while also releasing music. And soon enough, the floodgates had been opened to this marketing strategy in the 3rd gen, as we saw the rise of V-Live that was launched in 2015 that emphasized personal live streams and content, and then recently in the 4th gen we've gotten Bubble and things like Weverse that create a line of mostly one-sided communication for fans, and then we have the introduction of intimate fan calls between idols and fans. Suddenly idols didn't need just singing and dancing to get by, but they needed people skills and relatability to round out their talent. It's very ironic to me how in the 3rd gen, Blackpink were ripped to shreds for being influencers or luxury brand ambassadors before they were idols. But now it seems like every girl group has followed their lead in this aspect, and you can see elements of Blackpink's marketing strategy in a lot of girl groups now. Blackpink is a collective of individuals rather than a traditional group in a sense, and this is really a part of the reason they skyrocketed to fame. Every member has their own social media presence and individualized image, but what you'll notice as a big part of this marketing is Blackpink's affiliation to designer brands. If the team puts its members first individually instead of the individuals putting the team first, then you can make more money off of everyone's solo adventures and group comebacks as well. So it's a win-win. It really is giving influencer marketing because influencers usually have their own work that they do. Then they associate themselves with a group of other people in their field to capitalize on what power they all have as a team. One thing that's fascinating is K-pop's turn into luxury branding and the apparent lack of iconic costumes. For both the 3rd gen and the 2nd gen, groups in general would have a team outfit that would solidify that era in the public's heads. Girl Generation's Genie and G outfits, Twice's Cheer Up outfits, Red Velvet's Rainbow Peekaboo and Russian Roulette's tennis-inspired outfits, G-Friend's flowy dresses for Love Whisper, FX's Rum Pum Pum fits, and my personal favourite, A-Pink's No 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 sailor inspired outfits. On the other hand, in the 4th gen, a lot of K-pop comebacks have lost their separate identities from one another because K-pop idols are usually dressed in various similar brands, and having a team outfit be coordinated or a unified look for the whole comeback is just a thing of the past. And this leads into my next point. Throughout the entirety of K-pop in the 2010s, it was commonplace to put every single K-pop group in a box. For girl groups, you were either girl crush, sexy or cute, and companies strive to push their girl groups into these boxes because they could leech off the popularity of these three concepts, as they were spearheaded by very big names. In the third gen, concepts started to branch out more, but we still had boxes: powerful innocent, girl or teen crush, and cute still. Yet again, companies acted accordingly by remaking their own interpretation of these concepts. And these interpretations were very close to the source material still. But now we get to the fourth gen, and I don't know if I'm the only one who's seeing this, but the boxes have been eliminated. What has happened here is that we all became desensitized, I don't know if that's the right word, but it's the only word I can think of, to these familiar concepts, and they all lost their glow. So companies had to think outside the box and take these familiar concepts and expand on them in new ways we haven't seen done before. It's hard to put multiple groups in one box right now because everyone has either started their own concept or turned a pre-existing concept into something radically different from anything we've ever seen before. Even if you disagree and believe girl groups could still be put into boxes, I'm sure you can see how G-Idol and Les Serafim's Girl Crush today is not only very individualized from each other, but they're also nothing like the former pioneers of this concept. Putting your group in a box with other famous groups used to be the safest bet at recognition, but now it's a death knell for any group wanting to make a name for themselves in the industry. Aesthetics and standing out have become an essential key to success. At the start of the fourth gen, I love this development because now girl groups got their own special coat of paint, and it really helped diversify K-pop into a genre that had so much hidden creativity in it. But as the end of the fourth gen is on its way out in the next year or two, I can't help but notice how the healthy balance between visual and music that we had from the very beginning until maybe the earlier days of the fourth gen has been destroyed, and visual has come out on top. Fourth gen groups all have some form of convoluted lore about the members to push stans into endlessly rewatching the group's music videos so we can then create free promotion by analysing its never-ending story. I'm not saying K-pop groups shouldn't tell stories at all, but I am saying it would be much better if they did short films with a beginning and an end, as opposed to this marketing scheme that we've seen done so many times by this point, in which we know the story is being made up as we go along, and this makes it hard to follow. And then we have the complete disappearance of full-length albums and the sharp turn into only releasing 5-song mini albums, or even less than that, like 3-track long singles. Even Red Velvet, who have the strongest presence when it comes to top quality albums, haven't released a full album in 5 years. On top of this, we have the shortening of singles in length from 3 to 4 minutes to around 2 minutes to boost streams. Bridges are being demolished, the verses have to be rushed, and the song has to start with the hook because if K-pop songs don't hurry up and get to the punch, it won't satisfy our short attention spans. The music is evaporating before our very eyes in favour of aesthetic. And I'm sure many are thinking, okay, well, K-pop has always cared for the visual and not the music, so this is nothing new. But I'll tell you what is new about this, and that's how this prospect of K-pop being a more visual-based genre has been pushed to the very extreme due to the effects of streaming and other social media on top of that. The best example for this would be NMIXX's OO, that was hated by many. It was said to have failed to deliver a song that incorporates different individual songs and sounds together to create a mixture of a pop song. Thus, pick and mix, you know. But what people and JYP themselves didn't seem to realise is that this style of song will not work within a modern framework where you're shortening songs for looping purposes. Next Level could only work because SM is a company that refuses to break traditions. Rising Sun by TVXQ is 4 minutes and 40 seconds long. Next Level by aespa is 3 minutes and 40 seconds long. I Got a Boy by Girls' Generation is 4 minutes and 40 seconds long. And OO by NMIXX is 2 minutes and 50 seconds long. How are you supposed to pull off something so elaborate in under 3 minutes without it being disjointed and messy? And again, as you can see from NMIXX's debut era, I do think they have improved from their mistakes, but as I'm saying, it really does encapsulate everything I've said in this section, because their debut was all about attention-grabbing phrases, an abundance of lore, and just flashy music video sets, while the music itself had very little substance. I don't want to single out just NMIXX for this issue, however, because I feel like this goes for a lot of K-pop songs currently. Music isn't the only turn away from K-pop idols being primarily singing-based idols and such. It's also the way K-pop stages and performances have become both overproduced in terms of sets and choreography. This isn't a bad thing inherently, but when everything becomes so ambitious and overbearing to the point you can't sing live when you perform it, then there is a big issue here. The reliance on lip syncing is nothing new in K-pop. It has been around for years. However, the lip syncing in previous generations always felt balanced. In the past 2 gens, idols would sing live every now and then, and if they needed to lip sync, they would sing over a loud backing track, where you could hear their live voice but it would be smoothened out by the backing track. But now K-pop idols will straight up lip sync to the studio version, lip sync on stage to a pre-recorded version, or lip sync the entire thing. The only time you get to hear idols sing live is not on stage but on YouTube, and we don't even know the amount of processing or pre-recording that goes into these performances. Many stans use the excuse that challenging choreography is the real reason K-pop idols can't really sing live anymore, and that adds again to my point that everything in the 4th gen has morphed into putting style over substance, because how can you be in a musical group and never sing live into a microphone? Why not just be a dance group then? It just goes to show how much things have changed, because in the 3rd gen, TWICE in particular used to be attacked day in and day out for lacking in vocals, but now the majority of K-pop idols in a generation after them aren't a vocal focused group either and don't have that ability to sing live like they did. While in this video I've gone through the many things that have changed from generation to generation with the advent of social media and more, I want to clarify that I believe this is the direction we are heading in and not exactly what it's like right here, right now. K-pop groups are very dance and performance based at the moment, so I'm not saying overnight K-pop is going to turn into a place where only talentless influencers go to sell their products or whatever. But I will say, the combination of influencer tasks like utilizing social media to sell parasocial relationships, brand deals, idols opening their own YouTube channels and vlogging, a reliance on choreography only and barely singing live, receiving and advertising items from these luxury fashion houses. Many say IVE should be shamed for not doing their job and lip syncing while sitting down. But right now, is it really important that they sing live when the job of an idol in this generation is to influence, console and entertain rather than be live singers?